Pat, I know we've had the pleasure of chatting with you over the last couple of years with reunions, celebrations of prior Stanley Cups, but this go around it's the 1985 team, which 3.6 million fans voted as the greatest hockey team of all time. You're a member of that team, and when you hear that, what comes to mind?
Well, it's you know, it's amazing is what it is. It's a huge honor. When you look at all the great teams that have played over the years, you know, the great teams in Montreal, you know, Detroit had their run of it, Toronto. There's been some really, really good teams, and to be voted the #1 team over the last century is special, so we're thrilled about it.
How different was that team from the 83-84 team, which of course won its first Stanley Cup in franchise history, in your mind?
You know, say there, as we've talked before, you know, he was always tweaking things and trying to improve. We made some improvements that year. We now finally burst through the prior year, so we knew what it took to win. And I think with the adjustments that we made and the additions to the team, and the fact that we'd already done it, I think we're a much more confident group going forward.
Having said that, what was it like having the target on your backs every night?
Well, you know, going into every city, you know, and any team that's won that cup, you're the defending Stanley Cup champions, and you know you're going to have to be on the top of your game because everybody's coming to knock off the champions. And for us, it was just another reason to get up for the games because we didn't want to get embarrassed by anybody. We had a great second, you know, the 84-85 team had a great season record, and we handled pretty well everybody that year.
That's fair to say. And I wanted to ask, too, did it seem like almost every night another record was being set or one was being broken or somebody did something amazing that year? Because you look at all the accolades and you just go down the list and it's absolutely massive from that season. Yeah. What was it like sitting on the bench or being on the ice when some of these things were happening?
Well, I had, being the fringe player that I was, I had a great seat. And just to watch the magic of, you know, now that you've won it one year, you've got Wayne, obviously, with more confidence. You've got Mark Messier, Paul Coffey, Glenn Anderson, that whole group knew that we were going to win those games. And they did some things on the ice that, you know, I'd sit there next to Dave Hunter or whoever I was with and say, did I just see what I saw out there? Because everybody played at such a high level of creativity, too. And it was a special year because there was a lot going on.
How about the playoffs? Because you guys cruised through, and I mean, not saying it lightly, cruised through the first 2 rounds. Then you run into Chicago, some high-scoring games, and then the guys like to talk about Game 1 against the Flyers in the Cup final and not having the greatest game. What do you remember from the 3rd and 4th rounds of those playoffs?
Well, you know, as you progress through, everybody's done the same thing to get to that semifinal and final series. They've all been tested too. So you know that for Chicago to get where they did, they had beat some good teams to get there. They were going to be competitive, and Philly as well. Philly had a great year that year, and you know they played a little bit more physical type of game, and tried to play that type of game with us, but. You know, there's only so many things you could do back then.
Will this one have maybe a little bit more meaning, or will you guys, do you think, cherish it? I know Kevin Lowe has alluded to the fact that maybe, I mean, after this cluster of celebrations and reunions, this could be the last one. And having had Dave Semenko pass, does that maybe make you guys cherish it a little bit more?
Well, Kevin never mentioned that to me, so
I'm sorry to drop that bomb on you. Yeah,
but no, you know, you never know when we're all going to get the opportunity to get together. It's few and far between. We cherish every opportunity to do so. You know, our buddy, good friend, and great teammate Dave Semenko's passing last year really kind of puts it in perspective. So every opportunity we get to get together and take advantage of seeing each other is a great event.
Pat Hughes, always a pleasure chatting with you.
Thanks, Tom.